Ah,
Welcome, 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 and welcome to Chat with Nessa. I'm back with you after a 2 week break, and I'm so happy and grateful now that I have Judith McCaskill-Robinson here. Welcome, Judith.
hello. Hi. How are you doing, Vanessa?
I'm good. I'm just happy the cicadas left Maryland.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I know you're in California, but I know you're in the Sunshine State. But it's a beautiful day here today in Maryland, and I just want to say welcome. I want to let everybody know what a phenomenal woman you truly are, and you are a teacher, author, entrepreneur, and strategist, and you also are the recipient of the 2015 Congressional Community Service Award in recognition of your
Oh,
outstanding and invaluable service to your community. And that's a big deal. Congressional awards are a big deal. So congratulations on all your accomplishments. And I'm
thank you so
excited
much.
to everybody to get to know you here on Chat with Nessa and to actually get to know more about you. So I want to start this conversation with some great questions for you so we can get to know you better. And the first question I
Okay.
have for you is that, growing up, did you have a certain vision or goals for your life? Did you a dream that you would accomplish all that you have accomplished? So, growing up as a little girl, what were some of your interests and your dreams and goals?
Okay. Actually, that's a great question. Really, very early on, I knew at 8 years old, that's when I knew I wanted to be what I refer to then as an executive businesswoman. And really, I like math, science, and I like people. Um, and even now, my husband kind of teased me. He said, when I first met you, we were in the 8th grade, and he said, you were walking around with a briefcase. He said, I knew you were going someplace.
Wow, eighth grade. Wow, that's amazing. So, you already knew that you wanted to be an
Yeah,
executive businesswoman.
yeah,
Wow, that's something to be. So, you were like in junior high school when you started having
yeah.
that vision?
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. And really, even because then we had to choose, do you want to go vocational
Mm-hmm.
career or college career? And I knew it was going to be college business of some type. I didn't know
Wow.
exactly which business though.
Okay, well, I know that you have a diverse background in research development, entrepreneurship, personal finance, human resources. Tell me about your work in each of these areas that you've done over the years.
Okay, okay. So in the very beginning, I worked as a senior scientist for Reynolds Metals Company, and my degree was in chemistry. So I worked with the automotive industry. I love also problem solving. Like I was one of those nerdy kids that word problems I get excited about with finding an answer because I always knew the answer was going to be there. It always had to be an answer. So I would work through that word problem, solve for XYZ. And, for me, it was like playing sports. To find the right answer. So I worked in the automotive industry for about 14 years. Um, and I absolutely enjoyed that. Working with General Motors, Ford, Chrysler, and coming up with warranty packages for that industry. Okay,
Wow.
and then by actually accident, I got into the financial arena. It was a cold call. And it was someone that left me a message on my answering machine. And after 2 weeks of leaving me the message, I actually called the person back and said, look, my degree is in chemistry. You're looking for someone in finance. I think you have the wrong person, whoever you're looking for. And then the person said, well, do you have an interest? I said, well, everybody has an interest in finance. Then he said, well, would you like to learn about the financial arena? I said,
Okay.
yes, but how much is it going to cost me? And he said, it'll be under $1,000. I said, come on over and let's talk. And that's how I started my career in the financial arena. And I didn't even see it as a business at that time. I just wanted to handle my own portfolio. And I got into it so I would have the knowledge to handle my own portfolio. And then when I saw how easy it was, I
Mm-hmm.
said, everybody needs to know about that. And then that started my passion with helping the community, getting the word out, doing financial literacy seminars for the community. And then really um, I would get invited to churches, civic organizations, to just educate the public. And so
That's
that's
phenomenal.
what we
And you're
do.
going to answer all my questions. You're going through this information so quick. You know what? So now my thing is, so the guy called you, and it was a
Yes.
phone call that
Hmm.
led to you to be in financial services.
Yes. That's it.
Wow. So how many years ago was that phone call that got you into
Oh
financial
my
services?
goodness. That was 27 years ago.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
Time is going, but that's what people always say. Time goes by quickly when you're having fun. And this is the thing. I am 60 years old,
You
but
look good, honey. You look good. I would have never guessed it.
oh, you're making my day. But this is the thing. I enjoy seeing people get their confidence in the financial arena. I will be doing this when I'm 100 years old.
Wow.
Now, I won't be working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, but I will be doing this at some part-time level for the rest of my life because I enjoy it.
That's great. Tell me more about the human resources. I think that's fascinating because I used to be in HR a long time ago, but now at the level you have done so many things with human resources. And what's the key to hiring, managing, building a productive workforce? I know you have a lot of background in that. Can you
Mhm.
talk about that for me?
Well, see, I really love people too. So I love numbers and I love getting to know people, finding out their talents, their strengths, also recognizing what the weakness is, but then coupling them with someone else where that's also their strength to just build a really like a phenomenal team. So everybody focuses on their strengths. And
Mm,
so you'll have a key person that say for because I look at it like running a corporation. You're going to have somebody that's going to handle the HR. Then you're going to have somebody that's going to handle the training. You're going to have an accountant. You're going to
hmm.
have IT. You're going to have customer service. So all of those talents come into the team, and then you just recognize, and then sometimes people don't even know what they're good at. So it's kind of talking to the point where the strengths will highlight themselves, and then you try them out in that area and see if it's a fit for them too. And then sometimes you also even will change departments over time because the person changes and say, okay, I started off here, say in HR, but I really think that I like customer service better, and so you can switch back and forth. And then my other key is a phrase that I always use. I believe in business harmony.
Mm. Tell us what that means.
And what that means is uh, that the group of people, they're bringing their talent, skill set to the table, but also they're bringing friendship to the table too, where we enjoy each other's company.
Mm.
And so even when somebody comes to the team, it is a collective agreement that we want to add that person to our team. And
Uh,
then that also causes the harmony. And that's because sometimes it will be somebody that they still might have the skill set, but they might be a little bit hard to get along with. So you say, okay, that person, yeah, they can bring the talent, but they'll bring disruption. So we want someone that bring the talent and bring harmony.
That's great. I love that. I really do love that. That's the first time I've ever heard of that in that way. But you
Uh-huh.
know, I really want to get to your journey of entrepreneurship and your creation of Smart Decisions Incorporated. I love your website. I think it's
Oh,
fascinating. I
thank
want to
you.
talk about first, what was your first inkling that you wanted to be an entrepreneur and what made you create Smart Designs Incorporated?
Okay. All right. So, my first thoughts of entrepreneurship started at 8, but then my mom would always say, um, in giving advice, you got to make smart decisions because it's going to affect you for the rest of your life. What you do today will affect you down the road. So I always had that in mind. And when I started my own firm and I was trying to come up with a name, uh, I was, and really I had just lost my mom,
Mm.
and so the name is really in remembrance of my mom because she said
Oh,
you got to make smart decisions. in life.
That's fabulous. What year did you start the company?
And that company started uh in 2000. I lost my mom in 2009.
You started this
Uh-huh.
the same year?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's fabulous. So,
Yeah.
what services do you and your team provide to your clients? Can we go through the services?
Oh my goodness. It's a long list of services.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is when someone comes to you with a financial challenge, you don't know, you have to listen, and you have to listen well. Uh, and so, and you have to address what's causing the challenge first. Like, even though we can handle everything from cash flow, are you making enough money, identifying what the shortfall is, all the different protections out there, the will and trust, emergency fund, debt elimination strategies, planning for early retirement, planning for college, legacy planning. That's kind of like the whole array. But then the question is, even though we're handling all of this, what is that person's current need, and getting that priority checked off. And over the years, what would happen is, that's why we ended up specializing in so many different areas, is because when someone says, hey, well, I know you do all of this, but I just need to make more money. And that also addressed HR. So then I wanted to know, how do you look at someone's resume and what they're doing, and then help them to see, can you move up the ladder in your firm? That's option one.
Hmm.
Or is it that you have to do something on the side? Like, okay, you have your benefits in place and you stay there currently, but then what other talents do you bring to the table that you can make additional money? And my philosophy really over the years have been having anywhere from 3 to 5 additional income streams coming in.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And the reason why I adopted that very early on is, with my first marriage, my husband, we were married for 21 years, and he was disabled for 20 of those 21 years. So
Wow.
we had to figure out, how do you still have a normal middle income life, uh, and have additional sets of income coming in if we lost his income. And so that's also what started the second level of entrepreneurship. I was working as Rental Metals Company as a scientist, but then it started my first janitorial commercial business, working with contractors.
Wow. Okay. So
And
that
then that was
sources of
used
income is
as his income. Yep.
oh, got you. And then you keep adding different streams of
That's
income. It's very important. People should
that's right.
really have up to 7 streams of income, actually.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so that's phenomenal. So it's really based out of need financially with your first
That's
marriage
right.
that you started it, but you had the vision of being an entrepreneur since you were 8 years old.
Oh
So
yeah.
that vision was always in your heart.
Oh yeah.
Are
Oh
you
yeah.
the only entrepreneur in your family? That's not. I just want to ask you.
Oh, absolutely not. My great grandfather owned his own mill, and so he
Wow.
put uh-huh. And then my dad was carpenter and farmer, and actually sold tobacco to Philip Morris, and also cattle and livestock for the food industry. Okay, and he's just now retiring in his 80s,
Wow.
because he loved it. He's passionate about uh, um, he's passionate about farming. And then it's funny because I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur at 8. One of my brothers knew he wanted to drive trucks at 6 years old. And when he went to school, his first drawing, he came home and showed my mom. He had a transfer truck that he had drawn, and he had the wherewithal on the side to put his name, John C. Wall Company,
Wow.
at 6 years old.
Wow. Phenomenal. So you come from a lineage of
Yeah,
entrepreneurs. So that was
yes.
us. That's great to know.
Mhm.
So you know what? Now I want to talk about your book because you're an accomplished author.
Ah,
your
Okay.
book, Seven Principles to Turn Your Salary into Millions. And I really want you to talk about your book. What year did it come out? And what is the key message to your readers in this book?
Oh my goodness. I started, so I'm 60 years old, and at 60 you kind of start thinking about the things that you've accomplished in life and then what legacy you want to leave. um, we don't have children. So if we'd had children, I would have been pouring into those children from day one and grooming them. So I said, okay, what's the next thing? It's like, okay, you can write a book, because then that book will be there forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about the seven principles with understanding money and how compounding works. And those are the seven principles I use all the time in problem solving. So that was one of the things that uh, helped me write the book. The other that really launched me actually taking it from thought to actually writing it down was a stranger that picked my name out of the telephone book. She had just lost her husband, and she had come into a lot of money, and she was praying, and she said, I want to find somebody that I can trust to help me manage this money.
Mm-mm-mm.
And she said, this is what she said. She said, I just went down the list and I stopped at your name. And she called me. She came in, and I knew, looking at her, I'm a very good listener. I could tell that, she was so stressed, like, do I make the right decision with all of this money? So I said, what she needs to do is um, apply my seven principles, because I love teaching people how to fish versus giving them a fish.
Yeah.
So I want her to understand what to do with this money. Yes, let someone else manage it for you, but then also know how to count your money. And that's what the seven principles are. The heart of it is Rule 72, but it's more than just Rule 72, learning how that it's a doubling rule, but learning how to apply it to daily decision making so that the person can make smart decisions.
Ah, wow. Now, I want to make sure your Smart Decisions website, is there a link on the website that can get the book from the link on your website?
That's correct.
Okay,
Right
we'll
at
make
the
sure
home page.
everybody has it. Okay, everybody
Uh-huh.
knows it. I don't have your website listed under the
Ah,
broadcast so they can get your book, because that's a book I'm gonna have to buy for myself. That's phenomenal. Now
oh,
let's move on. You are a huge community advocate. Now,
oh
years of
yes,
community service,
yes.
the Congressional Award in 2015 for your community service. Now, tell me more about your passion, your work in the areas of financial literacy, and you also mentor the youth, which is the youth of
Oh
today.
yes.
Everybody
Yeah.
needs to volunteer to be a mentor. We need to have
Yes,
mentors
I love
all
it.
across this country. But let me get into your. I'm just fascinated by your financial literacy work and your mentoring the youth. Now, how many years have you been doing community service?
Oh,
Years.
it goes all the way back to uh not quite 27 years, but it goes all. My first volunteering in the community was tied to actually welfare reform. So
Mm.
it dates all the way back to that, because it was where individuals were on welfare, and it was okay. Well, we're going to put individuals back to work. And I said, well, if people are being on welfare but they want to go back to work, I would love to do seminars to educate them on how to spend their paychecks wisely.
Mm.
And so I actually talked to social services and would go in and conduct seminars for individuals that were transitioning back into the workforce. And that's how it got started. And then I saw the difference that it made and the confidence that individuals had with saying, okay, I'm going to have a paycheck, but now I'm going to spend that paycheck wisely. And it's the saying that I always say, and scratch the dollar, learn how to scratch the dollar. I love shopping for good deals. I love saving 50%, 25%, and I'll take even a 10% saving. But I get really excited when I've saved 50% on purchasing purchasing things. And it's important because my other passion is like let's see, rent uh, renting furniture versus buying furniture. That was one of my first analysis with the group. Do you save until you can actually purchase your TV, your furniture, and pay for it in cash, or if save enough where you can pay for it in 1 year? That means you can afford it. But don't do the weekly, because I showed math wise in comparison how much it costs you out of pocket. Because when I'm negotiating, and actually that I learned from my dad negotiating farm equipment. When people tell you all the features, all of that's good and what your monthly payment, then the next question you ask is, so how long do I have to make that? So then you get the total math. So I want to know what's going to be my total cost. But then just explaining that to my audience, they grasped it, that I got to keep more dollars in my pocket. And then that's the passion. And then from there, I started with churches, civic organizations, just doing mini seminars, and even in the Zoom area. I was doing seminars probably sometimes in the very beginning. I was doing seminars sometimes 4 times out of the week for groups.
Wow. Wow. And the mentoring youth, what kind of programs have you helped with the youth?
Okay. And so it's mentoring high school students. And there, and no matter where, if I was in Virginia, I was mentoring high school students. And even when I moved out here to California, I'm mentoring high school students. Because my other passion is, okay, you're going to go off to college. Okay, that's good. You're going to end up with sometimes student debt. But then I want to show the students, okay, you want to get a good education, but with the student loans, you want to accelerate paying them off as quickly as possible. And because if you look at the length of time you delay in paying them, it's going to be more out of money cost. And all I would do is just, again, show the math, A versus B, and how much you can save. And then that savings, then you can put towards your retirement.
Yes.
And I was talking from past experience. When I went to college from grants, student loans, and scholarships. With my student loans, I had them totally paid off in about 4 years, down to a zero balance. And then the rest of the money, I could then start focusing on early retirement. So I'm very passionate about it.
Now, how many hours a week do you think you still volunteer?
Okay. Now, have to admit, it totally changed from the pandemic. But before, general rule of thumb, just like with tithing and giving, say, 10% of your money, I like giving 10% of my time and my expertise. And I actually do that even with my clients. If I have a client that's coming to me with a challenge, sometimes I will donate and gift solutions to my client, because I always want to be in the giving mode.
That's really important. Well, you should tithe your time and your finances. That's great. So, I really want to ask you, as an entrepreneur, businesswoman, executive, what would be your message to someone who's listening who wants to be an entrepreneur, and anyone key message for those people who are starting out their journey as an entrepreneur? What would your message of hope or advice be?
Okay. All right. So the advice, a lot of times people will ask me, everybody's excited about having their own business, and that's great. But starting your own business and getting it to the level where you will have steady income is sometimes challenging. So I always tell people is, if you have a current job, to not give up that job. Do a good job for that employer that is giving you steady income. But then the additional income now do something on the side, build it, see if you can build it to the level where you can have consistent clients. And then you can evaluate whether you want to move and say, okay, I want to do this full-time versus part-time, because then that gives you the stability. If you cut off steady income to build variable income, it's not really the wise thing to do. Okay, so that's the first piece of advice. The second piece of advice is, with this new venture, the quickest way to learn is having a mentor. So
Yeah.
with this new venture, don't try to do it alone and reinvent the wheel. Have a mentor so that you can collapse stress level and time frames and save money. So those are the two things.
Wow. Phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal. Well, you know what? I just thank you. And of course, we're going to be forever connected, forever
Yes.
friends. I am so grateful for your life and all the women that I get across the country to actually come on Chat with Nessa. You are just another example of excellence, leadership, leading in the community. And I want to make sure everybody listening to me right now, her website, thesmartdecisions.com, will be listed under this broadcast. Also, you can check out my YouTube channel, Chat with Nessa, and she will also be podcasted at SoundCloud, iHeartRadio to see her podcast as well. But Judith Wall, McCaskill-Robinson, you are phenomenal. I'm making sure I
Thank you.
get that book myself, because even though I've been in corporate America, I have some side hustles or extra streams of income. It's very important that we always learn and never stop learning. And
That's
that
it.
book to me is essential. The 7 principles of how
Yes.
to turn your income into
Amen.
millions. And I think that you couldn't be a better person to write that book, because you've been doing it so long and walking that. But education is very, like you said, you'll be learning forever. You're like me, you like to learn. And I
Yes.
just thank you, because this is a key book that I think everyone should get. And go to your website and look for her services. They offer a lot of services to their clients. If you need any help, you have so many different areas that she supports you in financial, getting your life regular, getting out of debt, having a cash flow issue, any of these issues she can help you with. And so I thank you for your time.
Thank
Thank you for,
you.
because she's in California, so she's still in the middle of her day when we're wrapping up our day here on the East Coast. And I want to say thank you to everyone who's listening this week. We'll be back next Thursday. Phenomenal DC native. There's actually a person who's also a giver in the community, a community leader. She'll be with us. And I want to say thank you to everyone. Have a blessed rest of the week. And I'll see you next week on Chat with Nessa. Take care.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.